Hi, Leo. This is your astrology reading for the month of January 2020. I do apologize that I'm all late getting the video out, but it was the holidays and I'm trying to catch up now. So, this is for Leos, all sun, moon, rising, and Venus. And in case you're new to the channel, I always try to make sure that I'm coming out. I wanted to say I always try to write, which means obviously this is going to have a lot to do with communication for Leos. But before I get into what Spirit has to say, I try to make sure I always put out there that if you're just starting to follow the channel and you're coming to like the reading as Venus in Leo, that I'm talking to you about your sensitivities and whether it's positive or negative and how that will work for you or against you, more or less, and help you to understand what this would be speaking to you about. Now, if you're a moon in Leo, then I'm talking to your emotional depths. If you are, I'm sorry, I'm like a little twisted here. If you are a core Leo sign, then I'm speaking to you about your core energies. And if you're a rising Leo, then it's definitely just following the houses that we're going to be discussing. Now, you're definitely going to be having some communication, some karmic lessons going on in the sacral chakra or solar plexus. This is how you're communicating with yourself and how you're communicating with yourself and your will versus how that communication with yourself has been. I am getting some head over heart, a little bit of confusion in that area, some healing that's going on with grief, sorrow, shame, or blame within relationships or even with yourself. But definitely communication. You're even picking up some third eye. And definitely illumination at this time. You're coming through some unconscious mind, some of your hidden self, some of your self-deceptions. That makes sense because with the solar eclipse, it's taking, not solar, the lunar eclipse on the 10th, it's taking place in your 12th house. So that means you're definitely dealing with some of your inner skeletons in the closet and making healing within that. Healing some of that hidden self and bringing it back to the surface and showing it to the community. Building new foundations around that community that also will help you strengthen your shape-shifting inner emotional security and financial success by getting in touch with your higher self, your higher wisdom. Investing in self so that you're being put on the right path to support those goals and dreams. To get back on your fate line is what I just heard. Get back in line with fate. Get back in line with your purpose. It's definitely a transformational healing energy time. But I feel like a lot of this is going to have to do with communication. An illumination of that communication. Uncreating some of the self-undoing. I feel like this is more of a belief system that you're learning to step away from. And then step more into your own pursuit of pleasure. Into your own finding enjoyment in life. And what that honestly means. Is that it? I just keep getting communication from the higher self and trusting in it, trusting in that intuition, trusting in that union. Okay, I was making sure I wasn't receiving anything else. Before I actually pick up the astrology, I'm just going to run down that Mars already moved into Sagittarius on the 3rd. You have the lunar eclipse and full moon on the 10th in Cancer, which I already established will be in that universal 12th house for Leo. On the same day, you have Uranus, which is going direct. You have Venus, which will be entering Pisces on the 13th. Mercury, which will be entering Aquarius, your opposition sign, on the 16th. You have us coming into Aquarius season, your opposition season, on the 20th. Then we recap what we've learned on the new moon in Capricorn on the 24th. And I am definitely getting like frustration of not being able to speak the truth. And maybe it's not even the truth, just speak what you're trying to speak. Communicate it outwardly the way you want to. From the heart. Like you're not getting the opportunity, but this is all about communication. So this is definitely overcoming that feeling of not being able to speak from the heart and speak outwardly to the community or the relationships that you have in your life, and making sure that you are definitely speaking in your power this month. Let's look at the astrology. Leos, you don't have anything in your sign. Okay, first off, I'm going to skip the signs that are empty. And what I mean by that is the signs, the houses that don't have anything going on in them. That means there's really no influence going on from a planet. So I'm going to skip it because I really want to spend more time where there are planets, because these energies are no joke. So your first and second house, you're pretty much in your normal stature of your self-awareness, your personality, your appearance, your values, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, in your typical appearance of your liberation. But there is some bitterness, fear, and blame that I'm picking up from spirit, as well as some inflexibility and burden energy that may be necessarily in your core energy, your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, and it just may be in general, considering the way that Spirit's giving it to me right now. So that's why I went ahead and went on with that. But in your third house, this is Libra, and Libra is the communication house. It also has for you Haumea here, which is the collective consciousness itself, as well as Ura, which is asking you to put the commitment into the communication. Put the time and the effort into those details, into the intellect, into the delivery system, into making sure the communication is coming out and it's being heard. This is, I don't want to say don't take no for an answer, but I feel like you know what needs to be said, what needs to be heard, and this is not the time to shy away from it. This is the time to take that commitment and make sure that what needs to be verbally spoken is coming out. Even though, as of the 16th, Mercury itself is moving into Aquarius, your opposition sign. You have in your actual communication house, you have Ura, which is sacrifice and commitment to the communication and making sure that it is being delivered properly. So it's very important for you to make sure that you are speaking your truth this month. Now, your fourth house doesn't have anything in it, but your fifth house is Sagittarius. This is your inner child. This would also speak to you of that inner pursuit of pleasure that I was saying Spirit is directing me to. This is asking you to get right with being you, exchanging the energy of you, of playing, of having fun, of enjoyment. And what makes you enjoy being part of this world? Your inner child wants to play, but this is also where lovers meet. This is also where personal interests meet and friendships actually first begin, whether they turn into a relationship or not. This is where the inner child gets to play and make friends that then either stick around and become friends in relationships or not. But this is where you get to have that inner expression, your creative expression for being you and enjoying what it means to be you. Now, you have Mars here. And this is a fire energy as well. It's Sagittarius. It's asking you, begging you to express your passion, your fire, to burn within that expressive energy. And the fifth house is ruled typically by Leo. So this is asking you to express your Leo energy. Even though for you it's a Sagittarius, it's still ruled by, the fifth house is ruled by Leo. So it's asking you to express your fire, to express your inner Leo, to express your creative inner child and fun, and allow that to be and to be seen. Mars is asking you to get right with your sacral chakra here. Have confidence and courage to express that creative side of yourself, as well as those personal interests and making those new friends that may possibly even bring in a sexual relationship, because this is where lovers also meet. This is where the expressive enjoyment and fun begins. It's asking you to take time for fun, to take action in having fun at this time. Now, the sixth house for you is Capricorn. And this is where at the end of the month, on the 24th, you're going to return to that sixth house. Capricorn right now is a loaded pistol. And for you, this is your everyday daily tasks. This is your daily work, your service, your diet, your health care, your hygiene, your ability to work. It's also your volunteer work, your ability to actually work again. It is your work, being an employee. But I express the sixth house as our daily mundane tasks. And our daily mundane tasks have so much more importance than we ever give them credit for. They set the foundation of your daily routine and your daily life and your daily acceptance of what those routines will be. And those daily mundane tasks are people, places, and things of energy that you consume on a daily basis. So are these people, places, and things supportive to your daily life, your daily routine? Some people's daily routine is I get up, I take a shower, brush my teeth, I eat breakfast, I go to work, I stop by a bar on my way home. Now, I'm not saying that going to a bar is a bad thing, but if you're spending every single day there, you know, some people's routines is they go jogging. Some people's routines is artwork. Some people's routines is, you know, music. Different people have different routines. And all I'm saying is, are your daily routines and people, places, and things that you consume in energy every day supportive for you? Does it help you express who you are? Express your enjoyment and your fun? Does it help you get connected with your inner emotional security that brings you back to your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem? And are you able to communicate this within these daily routines. Because these people, places, and things of energy you consume mean so much more to the actual foundation of how and what we build within our lives. Now, Capricorn had its solar eclipse there the day after Christmas. And I'm getting cleansing in this area for many of you. Some of you definitely need to clean house and do some cleansing in this area. Cutting cords in this area is what I'm getting. Because this is also where Pluto and Saturn are. This is also where Ceres is, where Jupiter is, where the Sun is. Jupiter is the threefold theory. It tells you what you nurture or what you neglect in these routines. And are the routines helping your daily lifestyle to serve you in healthy ways? It's asking you, are you nurturing yourself? Are you neglecting yourself? Are you setting proper rules, walls, and boundaries? Are you able to find your spiritual soulfulness in part of these routines and the people, places, and things that you consume? Or are you abundantly growing out of control? Because Venus brings abundance, not Venus, Jupiter brings abundance and knowledge to whatever sign it's in. You also have the Sun here until the 20th. So it's being illuminated on if it's healthy or unhealthy. Again, the people, places, and things that you consume in these everyday routines. You will be returning to this energy on the 24th when it's a new moon, helping you to put yourself in a brand new cycle that supports you more healthy. However, the lunar eclipse takes place on the 10th in your 12th house. So this is saying somewhere in your 12th house, these routines and these people, places, and things that you consume, somewhere in there has been some self-sacrifice, things that haven't supported you, some self-undoing, self-deception, some lying to yourself and telling you that this is acceptable when you know deep down it's not. Where you've talked poorly to yourself and believed in the crap you've talked to yourself. This is your skeletons in the closet where you hide your grief, sorrow, shame, and blame away from the rest of the world. But there's something about these routines that is trying to tell you what you need to shift so that it is more healthy and you're having the right people, places, and things here. Because the 12th house for you has the North Node in it, and it's trying to teach you how to overcome the healing of your skeletons in the closet, your secrets, your secrets, your grief, your sorrow, your blame, your shame, your self-deception, your poor talking to yourself, your bad habits. And these two are going to be fighting each other all month, like I said, and then recapping on the 24th at the end of the month, going back into, are the routines healthy? And a lot of us during these eclipses are finding that some of our negative routines are coming back up. And that's because it's trying to show itself what you really need to change so that you're not doing these things that are unhealthy for you and get yourself back on track. Now, your 7th house is your partnership. It's your relationship house. On the 16th, you have Mercury moving in. On the 20th, you have you have the Sun moving in. And like I said, this is your opposition of your relationships. Now, I like to put out there when I speak to people that, our self-worth, our self-value, our self-esteem is often lost in our relationships. Our identity gets lost in relationships very easily because this is the opposite of us. This is where our hearts go. You're having the sun illuminating if these relationships are doing just that. And are you communicating what you need out of the relationship so that it's a fair and balanced and healthy relationship? Mercury in Aquarius is giving you an intelligent, heightened tongue to speak your mind, but to also be a rebel, to try something new, and to take a chance in trying something new, and illuminate if there's an actual opportunity for relationships to be healthy or not because of the sun moving in. So even though it's giving you the opportunity to illuminate if the relationship is good for you, or if it's possible that the communication needs to be tweaked, and then can you still shine here? Because the sun is giving you the opportunity to shine and show yourself as a very positive influence within this relationship. But that's all going to have to do with how you are communicating with yourself, as well as what you are communicating within these relationships of your life. Now, in your 8th house is where the questions are coming in. Venus is coming in and speaking to Neptune in the 8th house, which happens to be the rules of the relationship. And this is why I said this communication is going to be this way. Because Venus moving into the 8th house, for one, the 8th house is ruled by Scorpio, which is ruled by Pluto, which is getting right with spirit. But it's also getting right with the mystery of magic and change, the mystery of fertility, the mystery of birth, death, and rebirth, of regenerational cycles, of rebirthing, of transformational healing. But the transformational healing comes in these relationships because of setting the proper rules, walls, and boundaries. Venus coming in is going to be showing you where you're very comfortable and things are very much working for you and charming, and help you to have a charming tongue within these relationships and setting the proper rules. But Venus is also going to be here speaking to you about where it makes you uncomfortable because the rules are not fair. And that's what the rules are about realizing how to make them fair. Joint efforts, joint resources, joint finances. It's an energy that's very much a transformational healing, but all relationships need balance and harmony. So is there balance and harmony? Are they just? And they're created by having proper, healthy joint resources, joint efforts, and joint finances to whatever it is that's being dealt with of these rules of these relationships. Venus is bringing extra sensitivity to it and telling you where it's working for you or where it's working against you. Neptune's giving you the ability to create that transformational healing if you know how to actually speak your truth from that sensitivity and how to redirect it. Or will you continue to have the same cycle with these relationships because you're afraid of speaking your truth and making these changes? Now, in your 9th house is where you have Chiron. And Chiron is the wounded healer asking you to trust in the higher self. Take a chance and put the effort and the fire and the beginning into a true soulful spiritual union with yourself, with your psychic energies, with your intuition, trusting in that higher self, trusting in your ethics, your morals, your spiritual truths, your higher self's education and wisdom. This also deals with philosophy and religion, but I see this energy as the wounded healer helping you learn how to get your fire back and how to grow into that roaring lion that everybody loves and bring that flame full forward. This is a chance for you to get right with creating the union with the higher self and strengthening it. The 10th house speaks to you about your honor, your reputation, your professional career, your financial success, your social foundations and outer world and its authority. And this is where Uranus is going direct in your honor and your reputation. Uranus is asking you, as it goes direct, to get involved with that inner fire, that inner you, that inner spark, and trust within your own intuition to create your freedom, to bring about that inventive energy of you, your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness that brings honor and brings your reputation into a heightened understanding that steps into your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem by burning in your fire. And then it brings you back to your true self-realization by liberating your reputation, which then also helps your money house, because it helps you build actual finances by being in your power and doing what you are meant to do and create in that way. This is asking you to trust within that energy and trust within your own individuality, your independence, and create that freedom for yourself by lighting your soul fire and trusting within it. And then we go back around to the 12th house, which I already discussed. But the thing is, don't forget that 12th house has the North Node in it, even though the lunar eclipse is going to take place on the 10th. It's teaching you things about yourself that you need to know to believe in yourself and believe in your fire again by healing it, by forgiving it and accepting it. Your grief, sorrow, shame, and blame. This is, in a form, confession, but not confession for forgiveness. This is confession for not loving yourself enough to not accept you back then, but to accept you now and build your fire back and strengthen you from the inside out. This is all about, bringing that healing back forward and making sure that your daily routines are ones that support your fire. I love you guys. Bye.